everything about the fighting type. Now let's get to it.
Let's start off with some fun facts, shall we? First off, their highest stat is attack at 104, and their lowest stat is special attack at 75. Also, the ability Scrappy allows fighting type moves to hit ghost types. And finally, all physical fighting moves will make contact.
One Elite Four member or gym leader of every generation has had a fighting type gym, or Elite Four challenge. All damaging fighting type moves only hit one target. Over the years, there's been color inconsistencies between the games and the trading card game over what color the fighting type would be it orange, burgundy, or red. It's the most common secondary type among starter evolutions.
Alrighty, let's go over what they're weak to. Fighting types, like Conkeldurr, are weak to 3 types: Psychic, Flying, and Fairy. Psychic, because brains over brawn. Flying, because usually the person on the higher ground will win. And Fairy, because back in the olden days, fairies were seen to mess with the hero, which the fighting type represents in this situation.
Now let's talk about some strengths. It's strong against Steel, Normal, Rock, Ice, and Dark. Fighting overcomes Steel because I'm sure you've seen in the movies and on TV some big macho muscle guy bending a rod of iron or steel or something like that, and it's just bending it and it's overcoming it. It's showing that a fighting type can train past its limitations and be able to bend things that it normally shouldn't have. Normal, I just take it here as like basic, like fighting type. A martial artist in real life is gonna beat a normal basic human being because they don't have the same training. So it's just showing fighting has a mastery over normal. See? And then, much like Steel, Ice and Rock are weak to fighting because obviously if you can bend Steel with your hands, then you can easily shatter a rock or ice. And Dark is, in this case, it's representing evil and like the villain. And the hero always overcomes the villain because in Japan, the word for the type Dark is the same word for evil. So good shall overcome evil.
And next up, let's go over the best and the worst of the fighting types. The worst is Tyrogue with a combined base stats of 210. And the best is Mega Mewtwo X with an overwhelming average base combined stat of 780.
Mega Lopunny is one of the best fighting types to use as an example. Mega Lopunny was released in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. It turned Lopunny as the meek, timid, little, mediocre bunny rabbit that could be used as a cleric or just to surprise your opponent with some sort of annoying status. Now, with the added stats and attack and speed, Lopunny turns from a meek little rabbit into a kicking hair. Her attack stat allows her to break through walls and damage any mon that doesn't resist its attacks immensely. It also gets high jump kick, which is just a devastating move for wall breaking in general. In most cases, it can 2-hit even a Skarmory. Lopunny is one of the most threatening, annoying, and sometimes surprising additions to the metagame we have today. You won't really know how bad Lopunny can get until you get stuck behind a Cosmic Power one.
Next up, let's go over the prominent trainers of the fighting type. Now keep in mind there's going to be a lot of them because there's one for every generation, being an Elite Four member or gym leader. To start off, we have Bruno from Hoenn with his powerful Hitmonchan. And next up from Johto is Chuck from Cianwood City. Then we have Brawly from Dewford Town. Then we have Maylene from Veilstone City with her very powerful Lucario. Next up is Marshall from the Unova region Elite Four. And finally is Caitlyn from the X and Y games, also sporting a very powerful pair of Lucarios. Now let's go over some notable moves.
Focus Blast, otherwise known as Focus Miss, is one of the strongest, if not the strongest, special attacking moves that can be used by a fighting type. It does a lot of damage and is often needed for coverage on most mons that need something for a steel type, or a dark type. When it hits, it's always wonderful, but a lot of battles have been lost over a miss. Next up is Mach Punch. Mach Punch is used mostly on fighting types that are either too slow to be able to take advantage of any faster mons, or mons that are fast and just need something a little bit faster. It's got a low base power, but is very good for coming in clutch or revenge killing. Drain Punch, although it has a mediocre attack, it serves as a way to get your bulky fighting type mons their health back. Drain Punch can consistently absorb HP and keep him healthy enough to keep hammering blows. Finally, we have Close Combat. Close Combat is just a nuke of a move. It's got a base 120 stat and it hits 100% of the time. Close Combat is used on mons that generally have more speed than less, albeit Hariyama is pretty slow, but it's just basically the more or less go-to move for fighting types.
Next up are some pretty unique moves that come with the fighting type. First off is Seismic Toss, which deals the amount of health that your level is. So if you have a level 100 Pokemon, it'll consistently be dealing 100 health to your opponent, kind of like Dragon Rage. Next up is Counter, which will bounce back any physical move with double the damage. This is great for Pokemon that don't have a huge attack stat, kind of like Chansey, that are able to absorb a hit and bounce it back really hard. And finally is the go-to stat boosting fighting type move in Bulk Up. This increases the attack and defense by 1 stage. Now to conclude,
most of the fighting type mons are going to be physical attackers. You have the rare special attacking one like Keldeo, or even Mienshao has a pretty decent special attacking stat. Lucario surprisingly has a higher special attack than it does physical attack, but neither are anything to scoff at.
They also have the highest average attack, only second to Dragon, which is broken anyways.
Fighting types are most of the time considered as a counterpart to Psychic. For example, Counter is a fighting type move that reflects physical damage back. Mirror Coat is a Psychic type move that reflects special attack back. Fighting is also considered to be strength of the body, and Psychic is considered to be strength of the mind.
And finally, there's been at least one Elite Four member or gym leader for every region in the games. So thank you guys so much for watching our video. If you learned anything, go ahead and let me know down in the comments below. If you liked the video, go ahead and hit up that like button. And for more of these great everything about the types, click subscribe. And be sure to check out Dom's channel. It'll be in the link down in the description at Domsgameroom. So thank you guys so much again. You have a great day. See ya.